What is up, guys? Bullby the Fell-Handed here. Big shout out to everyone who stopped by for my very first stream on YouTube. This is going to be a constant thing instead of Twitch. I'm going to be streaming on YouTube on the daily. We're still trying to figure out the aspect ratio, however. I don't know necessarily if it's going to change or not. It may just stay the same. I'm not sure. Either way, it's kind of has black bands on either side of the box. I've tried a few different things, no avail. So I don't know. It may be there forever. It may not. I don't know. We're going to try to figure it out. Moving on to the game here, we are in the Smith Baby Boat, Tier 2, 6-click fish. It fires them singly. We're going to see what happens. You know, the downside in a ship like this is you have to get so close to make anything happen. And, you know, I'm kind of hoping that the speed and the mobility can kind of keep us out of trouble. Now, as you see there in the bottom right-hand corner, we had streamed this on Twitch the other night. And like I said, going forward, we are going to be streaming on YouTube instead of Twitch every single day, 7 to 9, in theory. You know, I may miss a day here and there, but if I can schedule it, if I can let you guys know, I sure will. So you don't have to do anything separate except just keep your notifications on, and you will know when I am online making the magic happen, or lack thereof. We have a couple of fish going out right there. Now, the one thing you've got to notice about the Smith is it has a 12-second reload on its fish. Very awesome. Little finessery going on there. Dodge the torp, no big deal. You know, so we already connected one there, and it's not easy. A lot of your work really has to be done around corners because of, you know, the range is so slow. Not slow, excuse me, but short. As far as the fish go, I think they're in the 50-click, or excuse me, 50-knot range as far as speed. They're not, you know, in the 70s that the Japanese are, but they're not necessarily the slowest. They're slightly above middle of the road either way. So we're making it happen. We're just kind of, you know, winging a prayer. That is essentially what we're doing here. We do have to get detected to kind of throw any kind of fish. And unfortunately it is one at a time. And once we fire two, it's pretty much a wrap. We're going to try to pop out here, drop some torps in the water, and back up. Hopefully that will happen. What we're doing also, guys, is we're very aware who, you know, a certain BB is fighting, or a cruiser, what have you. We're very aware of it, and we're kind of focusing on the people who are already engaged, and with that, we're kind of, you know, being predators. We're being, you know, opportunistic. I mean, we've gotten quite a few fish hits already. Even just got a kill there recently. So we just kind of have to keep our head on a swivel, and we can't get too overly committed because the guns and the fish on this particular ship aren't built for a long conflict. In other words, you know, in a few moments, say for example you go toe-to-toe with a Farragut, what have you, in a few moments it's going to be very clear you are outgunned, you are outmatched. So we kind of have to do the hit and fade tactics, but that's fine. You know, we're out here, we're making it happen. And you know, Tier 2, we're not really expecting a whole lot off the jump, but we are making it happen, and we're playing very cautiously because we don't have a lot of HP to trade. We don't have a lot of anything to trade. You know, this particular ship is it's delicate like a flower. It's very sensitive, and we want to make sure we don't go out there and, you know, get in the middle, get our screws damaged, so we're just kind of sitting there with our butt hanging out in the wind. We don't want that. So that is why we're kind of working the corners. We're playing conservatively. You know, we're checking the angles on the islands. We're throwing fish when we can. And mainly, you know, we're keeping one of the smoke launchers as a backup. I mean, we're ready to go. If anything goes south, anything goes pear-shaped, we're going to drop smoke, turn, and bail with torps on the way as we do so. And that's kind of the mantra of the DD, period. We are detected now. Not about this life. You know, what can you do? We throw a couple of fish there, hoping one of them is going to catch this gentleman. We're starting to kind of get reloaded here, get a decent firing solution on. See if those can connect with him here. It's looking good so far. It looks like it's about to rain down on him. Good, successful shot there. Managed to get a lot of health off of him. Let's see if we can end him right here. Doesn't quite happen for us. We see the fish getting closer and closer. He just hit us really bad. Not a fan of it. Now, at this time, we managed to get him there. At this time, I want to go ahead and mention Anton Gurin, as well as one of the American captains. I can't for the life of me remember. I think it's Arleigh Burke. Have quick fix. And I didn't really pay much attention to this skill at the time, because I was more focused on the torpedo skill of, you know, increased speed in your fish. I wasn't really paying attention, and Loading Heat brought it to my attention. He says, you know, if you get critical hit in your, you know, your propulsion, your screws, or your rudder, you can keep going just at reduced speed or reduced mobility. And I was like, really? He says, yeah. So now if your captain has quick fix, you have to have it. It is super useful. It keeps you in the fight. It keeps you out there making things happen, and it is just utterly amazing. And if you'll notice, I was on a stream tonight where I got hit in my Japanese DD, and I did not hit the repair button because I just assumed I had quick fix on it. But that particular gentleman does not have quick fix. He has something else. So just, you know, keep in mind, you need to make sure you know for a certainty what ships you have it on, what ships you do not, because you don't want to get like little old me and get confused. So just keep that in mind. So we're still out here. We're throwing fish. You know, we've got 40k plus. We're making it happen. You know, but we have to kind of look at, you know, the leaderboard there on the very top. They've got 3 enemy ships left. Our goal now in game is to secure as much damage as possible. So we're going to go ahead and try to locate these ships, try to find them, isolate them, farm them. The worst thing we can have is a group of 3 ships together. The best thing we can have is, oh, let's split up, and you've got a ship on each different, you know, area. That's perfect. We want them to be split up, because if they're there together, it's going to be very hard to get in range to throw torps at, you know, one or all of the groups. So you kind of have to keep that in mind, that, you know, even if, say, for example, 2 of them together, one of them is out of bounds, you want to go for the one, because the whole idea here is you want essentially cull one from the herd and get him alone, and then, you know, hit him with these torps. And that's standard DD practice no matter where you go. So you just kind of want to make sure that you're going for the right targets, which is, I think, something, you know, target selection is very important. It's something we can all work on. Cruisers are very elusive targets, because I think they specifically are looking for torps as a general rule all the time. Battleships are kind of one of two things. I've started seeing a lot of battleship guys, a lot of battleship operators put a lot of points into speed and rudder shift especially. So I'm not saying they can necessarily turn on a dime, but they can rotate, you know, they can do that rudder shift very quickly. So a lot of the battleships aren't going to be just pushovers like you think they normally are. So just kind of throwing that out there. Don't plan on them being easy marks, because more often than not they are not. You know, you're actually going to have to go out there and work for it, which, you know, granted, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but you just need to know, you know, what kind of enemy you're dealing with in general. So something to think about, food for thought. We're going to see if we can't make this run on this gentleman right here. It's anybody's game whether we're going to connect with him or not. Like I said, sometimes it's going to happen, sometimes it's not. The only downside is I'm hoping that, you know, we don't get hung up on this island right here and get detected. Of course, that happens, and that's kind of the danger you have from being so close to an enemy. You know, you're literally almost in range for, say, for example, battleship secondaries, you know, to some of these guys. So you just have to kind of keep your head on a swivel and be very cautious, because, you know, more often than not, you end up just getting way too close to these guys, and they just decimate you with your deck guns, and that's something we don't want. You know, hopefully, you know, he's going to be engaged with someone else, and the good thing is he's going away, he's falling back, and which is putting distance in between us, even though we're stuck. If he had kind of taken a moment, he could have really decorated us, which, you know, we would not have been, we would have not have been fans with at all. So we're trying to get unhung off this island here. It happens to everybody, especially when you're more concerned with looking at the battle versus actually, you know, riding around. You know, so it's just 6-1, half dozen the other. You know, you do have to have the situational awareness, but at the same time, if you get hung up, it can easily get you killed, especially for a fast ship like a DD. You know, if you post up on an island or you ram into an island accidentally, and you know you're fighting a cruiser, it is a wrap. That cruiser is going to eat you alive. I've done it many times. You know, if the cruiser knows you're coming, you're in trouble. If somebody else spots you, do not make a run on the cruiser. He will absolutely decorate you. And you're talking about, you know, Marblehead or Omaha versus a Farragut, no problem. You know, if they don't get their fish in, then it's not going to be a big issue at all. This gentleman right here, not long for the world, obviously. A lot of hatred inbound towards him right now. Not a whole lot we can do. He's, you know, we're kind of out of range. We're trying to drop one round at him at a time. Other people are throwing scores of rounds. So, you know, he's not long for the world. We need to get it where we can get it. You know, if you catch my drift. Had a good game in the Smith, though. Really enjoyed it. We ended up doing 49k damage, which is very good for a tier 2. Guys, really hope you enjoy. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Hit that notification button, and make sure to look out for the stream. See you guys next time.